Okay, good evening and welcome to the Almont Community Schools Board of Education regular meeting on Monday, May 18th of 2026. We will call this meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Burrow, you do roll call, please.
Mr. Rotarius?
Here.
Mr. Wade? Here. Mr. Burrow here. Ms. Ankley?
Here.
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Mr. Eckert?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
We have all members present. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
I just want to let the presenters know that I'm going to be leaving at one point during the township is meeting on the SRO today, so I'm going to be stepping off. I don't want anyone to be like, why are you leaving? So there we go.
Thank you, Mr. Burrow. We appreciate you doing that.
Yep.
Adoption of the agenda. Mrs. Von Heltmeyer, any additions?
No,
Deletions?
no deletion.
Amendments?
So yes, I'm going to recommend tabling a few policies for further discussion with the Board Policy Committee. So I'm going to go ahead and table 4 of them at this time: 6325, 7540.09, 8120.09, and 8655.
Thank you.
Yes, we are going to start tonight off with some presentations for our rate of recognition, and we have Mrs. Howie from OP, our Director of Student Success here, and our high school interventionist, Mrs. Howie. So if you guys will proceed. Your mic on, Mrs. Howie. Make sure it's turned on. It should be a little louder there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first, I would like to thank you guys for allowing Stephanie and I to come and share what we have had to the pleasure of enjoying all year. That's just a little list of the things that I do. That's okay. If you've worked in education, right, your senses go off. You're like, I got to run to that. So I'm going to get closer so I can see. I monitor the success and the struggles of all students in our building. So ABCs, attendance, behavior, and core and classes. So as you can see here, it's a busy day. On Mondays, I run reports and I set a plan for who needs my help that week, who needs follow-up, etc. Here is a chart of the impact that I have had this year and counting. So anytime I meet with a student, I record that, and that document is shared with Ms. Vaughn and Mr. Spear. And that could be any number of things, from an issue with a peer to a 504 to IEP assistance, discipline, behavior plans, ELL stuff, counselor, teacher, parents call and say, can you check in on my son or daughter? So that's just a quick glance of the impact that I've had this year on the students. I'd like the number to be higher. I'm hoping to beat my record next year. When I hired in, one of my directives was to basically be the fairy godmother to the seniors. And so Miss Norad and I team up along with Mr. Denoyer, and I make sure that every Monday I see exactly where the seniors are, how they're doing, if they've missed classes, if they're sick, if they're struggling in a class. And you can see there, and that's all 90 seniors from the start of the school year until just as of this morning, I had one in my office for 2 hours. So there were 18 seniors that had one-on-one check-ins, and that is like intense. Like, I know you're going through it. We got to get you through to the finish line. Overall, 71 check-ins with that senior cohort for only 3 failed classes. And then semester 2, obviously it's counting. We have the mad rush to get everything in at the end, and then of course final exams. So that's currently, right now I met with Miss Narad this morning. I think we'll have 1 senior, and I have a big May here. May need to do 1 summer course, but they all should graduate, so we're pretty proud of that. I surveyed the high school staff and I asked them, give me the good, the bad, and the ugly. Give me your feedback on how we can improve on this position and the impact that an interventionist has had on the high school. And so I'm not gonna go through all of these. You can see I had total, as of this morning, 23, but I had to make these slides. So I think it's around 21 responses. How effective was an interventionist in this? Talking with the seniors, talking with the senior teachers, getting their grades in. So they were happy about that. One of my absolute pride and joys is working with teachers and advanced kids. So I did a SAT boot camp this year. Mrs. Zielinski and I did it twice a week, and then once it started getting closer, the kids were like, we're having all these snow days, we're never gonna, go to U of M and be a doctor like we want to. So I started probably about 5 weeks of meeting with them twice a week. So I have roughly about 13 to about 20 hours worth of work with those kids. I went into classrooms and pushed in. I will send you this slideshow and you can see the link. So if you guys have a junior that's coming up, you want to share the cram session tips and tricks for SAT, feel free to use it. Another thing that we're super proud of is that in the beginning of the year, Max came in and he said, I'd like to do something, but he's not like super sporty. And so I met with Max and he said, well, I really like chess. And I'm like, chess? That's awesome. That's great. Let's start a club. So Max and I met a few times, and Mr. Spear gave us the money for 3 chess sets. Mr. Voigt said, sure, they can house it in my room. And so every Tuesday, almost for the entire year, Mr. Voigt has hosted a chess club. And it varies. There might be 3 kids to 10. It just depends on who's available. But they always know every Tuesday they can come in and play chess. Stephanie and I tag teamed ELL coordinators this year. I do not speak another language, and I am ashamed of that, but I can barely speak English some days. So she paired with me, and she and I went to all of these MISD trainings that they had, and through webinars and classes and courses, we were able to come back to our district to say, these are the things by law that we have to follow K-12 when it comes to ELL students. And then we would meet with the principals to make sure we were in compliance. Any new incoming students that scored like at a newcomer level, she and I made sure that we had exactly what those students needed. And then we also spent a good chunk of our time presenting to staff about what WIDA means and how we can read it. Shout out to Alice. She's been wonderful. So we did that, and there's the hours there. Truancy and attendance, again, I monitor it every week, every student, all year long. You can see semester 1, I sent 45 letters home, and semester 2, I sent 27 letters home. It is a feat to refer a student to Lapeer County Juvenile Courts. I'm told 4 is a good number for us. All 4 of the referrals that I referred were immediately accepted. In my role, I have an opportunity to kind of look sometimes at a bird's eye view and see some systems or some issues that we might as a school want to take a closer look at. So I hope you don't mind. I have taken this opportunity to talk about a key takeaway that potentially moving into next year, we might want to revisit our school policy or the high school policy and maybe add some incentives to our policy because attendance was one of the things across the nation is hard to move. But it's one thing I think with a little bit of incentives and maybe a little bit of teeth, with our attendance policy at the high school, we can move the needle a little bit more. I kind of felt like a bill collector, like if they were okay with getting the letters, there wasn't a whole lot else I could do. And even though I would call and send letters. So this was just an area that I wanted to maybe focus on for next year. Some ways maybe we could reduce the number of absenteeism at the high school. That is a response for how well I communicated with staff on juvenile court system, across the board on all the ABCs. I'm also the 504 coordinator. When I first got here, I realized that we didn't have a good knowledge base of what a 504 was, how it functions, what we need to do to legally comply with laws, both federal and state. So I created a few things for our staff. This is something that Michelle Prue actually shared out to Lapeer County. The whole district got that. And so I have 44 kids on my caseload that I work through 504s with. People felt pretty happy and informed with the 504s throughout the course of the year. I also do I-Team. That's a huge chunk of the week. Not only do I monitor all students, but that I also take that cohort and we work through in the classroom, they have accommodations, and how are those accommodations working? Are they working? Are they not working? Every month I meet with these wonderful people over here on the left, Michelle, Andrea, Chris, Danielle, and Melanie from the CEC, and we brainstorm and come up with ways that and pathways that we can help kids be successful. And there's more of that. This year we had 43 students. This first semester, we had 43 students who failed a course, one or more courses. That is significantly lower than the state. We should be very proud of that as a district. Again, I'd like to beat that score next year. Semester 2, it's just too early to give you data on that, but I'd happy to put something together once semester 2 is complete, and I'll send that to you guys so you can look over it over the summer. But with final exams, I didn't want to jinx it. So I'll wait and I'll send you something. This is something, again, when I have that bird's eye view and I'm able to see the inner workings of things, one of the things I wanted to take an opportunity to bring to your attention, we have a lot of kids that are online, which is great. That's the 21F law. There's nothing really we can do about that. We have to provide kids an opportunity to be online. We have quite a few students that spend 3 hours of their 6 online, and they're successful, and we function very well. One of the things that I've noticed, because I deal with absenteeism, drops, ads, new students, is I started to see that we were losing students to online like K-12 schools. They were saying, well, I'm going to drop out and I'm going to go to XYZ school because they have an online school that's 100% online. So I just did some quick math and I put this together as a visual just for something to think about as we move forward next year. If we were to have offered just the 15 that I know about an opportunity to stay in Almont, we would have probably about $87,000 more revenue than, because right now they take their funding and they go elsewhere. Now, personally, I don't really know if that's the best learning. I think we all will agree to that. but it's just something that I wanted to point out to you while I had your time. I'm not going to bore you with all of this stuff. These were the comments that were the teachers left on the survey, like how have I positively impacted it? How have I helped with their job? How have I made their job easier? Any additional thoughts? A couple of them, I think, thought that I was going somewhere. They're like, don't, we love her. We don't want her to leave. And I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. So you'll see those things on there. Additional comments to share. And then for next year, there was a big push for attendance, for us to do something more with attendance, more with consequences for attendance, and that kind of thing. So I did all of the survey too. I will share with you as well, like the actual survey, so you can see all of the information there. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry I probably went over, but I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Wow.
You are so welcome.
You had to disconnect, so I can
Do you want
connect.
this cookie quick?
Nope.
Well, let me know.
You gotta un-K. There you go. Okay, and now you're about to see, the difference between high school and elementary school. So hold on, let me back it up. It wasn't supposed to start yet. So I, just like Mrs. Howe, I made a survey to ask the teachers and the staff the difference in our building between my position being present in the building and my position not being present in the building. But because I work in an elementary school, you have pictures. So there are some words, but there's mostly pictures.
Having this position at OP, our building principal was often consumed by urgent crisis, student discipline, and daily logistical fires, leaving little to no time for long-term planning or teacher development. A director of student success has helped absorb some of these demanding operational tasks, allowing the leadership team to proactively mentor staff, implement stronger academic programs, and build meaningful relationships with students and teachers. Ultimately, investing in this role ensures that a school runs smoothly every day instead of constantly operating in a state of exhausting damage control. Also, with a new principal coming in next year, having this position is imperative to ensuring our continued success in academics and social emotional work for our students.
The addition of a Director of Student Success position has been instrumental for Orchard Primary this last year. It's gone a long way in supporting staff by giving them an additional wonderful resource to reach out to. It's had a huge impact on our students by giving them another great mind in our building, someone who's able to support those who need that support the most. And then administratively, it's great to have just a second person in there to bounce ideas off of, support staff, support everybody. A huge just day and night difference by adding that position this year, and I hope something we can keep for years to come.
That's it.
Thank you. Did you guys see yourselves?
Thank you guys, both of you for being here. Your work is just, I mean, it's evident. And thank you for doing the surveys and getting that feedback. It says a lot. I'm very confident that the Board of Education here does see the value of having your positions at both the elementary and secondary levels. Thank you so much for your incredible work. You guys have worn so many hats this past year, but all in the lens of student achievement and making sure that our students are supported and staff are supported each and every day. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mrs. Cobb with Raider Rep.
We came to give you guys an update on what's going on this year. And we're not as well prepared because most of them went out to the softball, but made it. So I got a lot of so you met all of us at the December ignorant previous meeting. We were all here. In case you forgot, we are our meeting. And then I had a little note that said what my goal is to figure out every year, and it's really about growing them as leaders, but not just leaders who care about themselves and themselves and what they're doing, but how a leader actually give a whole bunch of themselves to do that, So this year's group has given us so much of their best time actually, and the extra time and the free time to come down and help out with and we've had almost perfect attendance at all of our meetings, and it was very hard because these are very active, involved in a lot of different ways. So just the fact that they've been able to see everything and help out with them. We started off by talking about some of our spirit days. With some of our spirit days, and so when it comes to spirit days at OP, it's a little bit tricky. Because normally, I'll like figure out the sample of them. This year we have a lot of additional spirit days getting into the next, so we didn't have 30 minutes this year. But it's one of those things where we really have to start thinking about the bigger picture. Because when it comes to spirit day, they have to also think about what is going to be something that everybody in this building can do. So they're really excited and they have all these different ideas, and they also have to go, well, I'm a big kid and I can do it, but can the kindergarten do it? Can all of the families that are in our building actually participate in this, or is left out? They don't have money to go buy a brand new outfit for every year. So thinking of things that really fit with everybody, and then they picked up on that right away. So we kind of see by all of our and so we had our Spirit Fridays in December, we had our big one Spirit Week in February, and then we kind of our Animal Day get canceled because of snow day, which has been
And then we had Tuesday, Monday, last in the past, new catch day, and then a cat day. Then they also had a little bit of spirited mixed into appreciation week where their Friday, we're going to dress as teachers, and then wearing their favorite color on Wednesday. And then we get cleaned up with Mrs. Butler from the one classroom to bring awareness to World Down Syndrome Day. And she was really excited about doing it, and then she realized it fell on Saturday this year. So we kind of took it and ran with it, and even though, hey, this is on Saturday, and we're talking about being on Saturday, but each year we're together and it's loneliness, so we really wanted to, hey, even though it's on Saturday, we're still going to do it on Monday. And then each one part, so. Then we also have a week on Thursday. We have a full assessment celebration, starting with our family visiting. Ready?
Bingo night was really fun for the Raider reps. We got to host it, and we at least gave away $500 in prizes, and we sold out the event. And there's a lot of photos. Everyone got prizes. There's a lot of people who won it, and lots of people were happy they were allowed to go. It was for like the whole entire school.
Anybody else? They all had to talk into a microphone, I think, they were a little more great. We also had our annual Lucky Gram sale. So this year we spread it out over 3 days, and we set it up slightly different where everybody filled out their paper at home of who they wanted to buy Lucky Grams for, so there wasn't any confusion. And then they had to fill out like, all of these Lucky Grams. So, what do we got?
Raising over $1,500, selling over 25 pounds of chocolate, and delivering just over 2,000 Lucky Grams made them feel important and really good about themselves.
And then I brought back Teacher Appreciation Week because it was also a celebration in the week. So one of the fun things that we did was the Treat 'em Tuesday, and kind of going back to that, recognizing that not all students at this age can really do what they want to do. We bought candy and treats for every single student in the building to at least have one or two to pass out to different staff members in the building. And to kind of help them with that and kind of understand the appreciation, they were all attached to little notes. So some of the notes said, like, give this to a teacher who is the strongest in the school, or who has cheered you up when you felt sad, who has the best classroom, who always makes you feel happy, who loves orange and black. So there was a mixture of like really sentimental ones and then kind of silly ones. Like one of them was, who would fight a dinosaur for you? So. And then we also wanted to spend some of the money that we were making, and so they got to spend it a bit on themselves, but for all their hard work. And we paid for the third grade teachers to have pizza parties in their classroom. And then our next steps that we have going on is going to be providing the hats that they have for themselves, and we're getting clappers and bubbles for them for their third grade clap out that they have at the very end of the year. And then we are deciding our very final touches on what our school gift is. We do know that they're buying blue ribbon magnets for all of the teachers to have, just as a little like, reminder of the year. And then we have a gift that is going to be for every single student, but we're not unveiling that just yet. And then we are hoping to get our Raider store up and running. That's actually a lot bigger of a task than one person and children can do. Do you want to do that? Yeah, because this is just my last one. It's just all you guys. Yeah.
Being a Raider rep means we can plan stuff for the school, like Spirit Week. Like wear your favorite color, wear your favorite animal. Mismatch Day and Raider Day is when you wear orange and black.
As a Raider rep, we did many things. Some of those things include planning many dress-up days, selling Lucky Grams, and attending monthly meetings. My favorite was planning the dress-up days. Being a Raider rep was so much fun.
Nick, do you want to say anything? Costumes. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Do you have any?
Thank you very much. A lot of great work being done. Thank you, Mrs. Cobb, with your students there. Next up, we have Addison Daniels and Maria Pizarro.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, and thank you for having us here today. My name is Maria Mazzaros.
My name is Addison Daniels.
We are both in 11th grade, and we are members of the Student Council, and we are excited to share with you a bit about what has been going on in our school recently.
On April 22nd, the National Honor Society held its induction ceremony for its new members. Induction into NHS is a huge honor and privilege and is a show of student scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Our National Honor Society provides free tutoring on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as contributing to our community through community service hours and committee work. We are proud of the impact that NHS has made on our school.
Students in Mr. Hunter's chemistry class took a field trip to Michigan State University, where we learned about how scientists in Antarctica are using cosmic rays to study neutrinos, and we were able to speak to the scientists over Zoom and ask them questions about like their living conditions and stuff they learned while being there.
On Friday, May 15th, 9 AHS art students had artwork included in Michigan's 9th District Congressional Art Show. The competition and exhibit was held at St. Clair Community College in Port Huron. The show had over 450 submissions from 32 high schools. Our state representative, Lisa McLean, was present, recognizing the incredible talent and hard work of these student artists. Almont 9th grader Ringo Adkins placed first in the category of digital arts and took 6th place overall, which is an amazing accomplishment.
On May 9th, the juniors and seniors celebrated their prom. The theme was Masquerade, which was decided on and designed by the Student Council. This event would not have been possible without the efforts of our senior class sponsor, Miss Keller, and junior class sponsor, Miss Blum, as well as many more amazing staff members. We want to extend a thank you to these teachers and administration members for making this night a success. The Rachel's Challenge Club even surprised students on the day before prom with a white rose in their car.
Students in the NHS fundraising committee put on a fundraiser in order to raise money to treat teachers to dinner at AHS. They sold the option to tattoo a teacher to students who purchased and chose a temporary tattoo for a teacher to wear, even on their face, for an extra charge. We can't wait to see the teachers show off their tattoos tomorrow. Once again, thank you so much to the Almont Board of Education and the Almont Community Schools staff for making our school and community so great.
Thank you.
So we're going to our first question, three comments from the audience, and this is for anything that is pertaining to the agenda. Would anybody in the audience like to be recognized at this time? Anybody from the Board of Education?
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Burns?
like to repeat Propose the Board of Education approve the consent agenda. Item A, approve the minutes from the April 27th, 2026 regular meeting. Item B, approve the minutes from the May 11th, 2026 special meeting. And item C, approve the minutes from the May 12th, 2026 work session. Support?
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Wade,
I move the Board of Education approve the bills payable and the financial reports as proposed by administration and reviewed by the Finance Committee as follows. March 24th, 2026 through April 27th, 2026 disbursements. General fund total, $432,033.42. School lunch fund, $72,979.96. Student activity fund, $23,652.84. 2014 sinking fund, $0. Subtotal, $528,666.22. ACH wire transactions, March 24th, 2026 through April 27th, 2026, $1,087,298.55. Edu staff, $16,224.18. Health equity, HSA, $38,929.40. Credit card, BMO, $10,838.82. Health insurance, $134,564.86. Total funds spent, $1,816,522.03. Check numbers and voided checks as listed below.
Support?
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Please make sure that you take time to acknowledge our Orchard Primary, Middle School, High School, and Athletic Student Activity Account Report. Now bring us to new business for reports with our superintendent's report.
We start with the building principal report, starting with Orchard Primary. For Mr. Bruno, had a great last month at OP. Our third graders completed their first MSET test and did a wonderful job of showing their best effort. All the students took the NWA and DRA test, and we're looking forward to our data days after Memorial Day to review how much all of our students have grown. Huge thank you to PTA for all their support, making a great Teacher Appreciation Week. Also, Kindergarten Roundup was a huge success, and it was wonderful to meet the next class of graders. Students and parents had a blast at the annual color run. Thank you to the PTA for making the event possible, and looking forward to a great last few weeks of school filled with field trips, field day, and more. Go Raiders. From Principal Lewis at the middle school, MSTEP assessments are wrapping up. We're very proud of the students for showing strong focus and determination throughout the testing process. We would also like to sincerely thank Mrs. Gricebeard for her continued support and efforts to coordinate testing for our school and district. Our ELA leadership team is continuing their work to support the rollout and implementation of the new Amplify CKLA curriculum. AMS is proudly recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month through a school-wide Spirit Week designed to promote mental wellness, encourage positive connections, and raise awareness of the importance of supporting social, emotional well-being for all students and staff. Students are participating in a variety of field trips, including 4th grade Michigan Science Center and Camp Skyline, 5th grade Imagine Theater, and 7th grade Urban Inn. Our Steppin' Up night for incoming 4th grade families will be held on Tuesday, May 19th at 6 p.m. in the AMS cafeteria. And there's a lot of exciting events and celebrations planned as AMS wraps up the final weeks of the school year, including a 5th grade science fair this Thursday evening, our end of the year staff versus student games on Friday, awards day on Thursday, May 28th, 4th grade wax museum on Friday, May 29th, and field day on Tuesday, June 2nd. So a lot of things happening in each of the buildings. At the high school, per Principal Spear, Almont High School, we are dramatic. Almont Theater Company's production of Wizard of Oz debuted May 1st and ran through the weekend of the 3rd. It was a wonderful show that blended the traditional play with modern updates that brought our Almont actors' talents to the forefront. We also had high school band. Congratulations to Mr. Wetzel and the high school band for earning straight first division superior ratings at the April 24th MSBO A festival, meaning that they earned a superior rating in every category in which they were being judged. This is another big win for the band as they head into their final concert of the year on Monday, May 18th in the high school gym. So if you have a moment, you could step over and see them play tonight. At the high school, we party like it's our last student dance. So as mentioned by our student council, May 9th was the high school prom held at Maniachi's in Richmond. This year's theme was Masquerade, and it was brilliantly decorated and organized by Ms. Blum. We're so proud to announce prom king Ben Schurig and prom queen Adriana Joka. They were fantastic, cutting a rug on the dance floor along with the other 193 guests. So a very successful event. As far as superintendent's report from me directly, just a shout out that this week I will be sending out a district letter to communicate important information regarding the upcoming, in the future, summer non-homestead operating millage. I'm encouraging all families and community members to visit our district website and pay close attention to our social media platforms for additional updates, facts, and important reminders related to the proposal. The election will take place on August 4th, 2026, with early voting beginning on July 25th. We appreciate the community's continued engagement and support as we work to ensure that everyone remains informed throughout the process. Just as a reminder, a non-homestead renewal operating millage is a voter-approved property tax renewal that allows the school district to continue collecting operating funds from non-homestead properties such as businesses, rental properties, commercial properties, and second homes. This millage does not apply to a homeowner's primary residence, and it's essential for school districts to receive their full per pupil funding from the state of Michigan. So more information is coming your way. Again, to include a mailer that will also be sent to our Almont school community and taxpayers. Starting with resignations. The Board of Education may agree to a resignation or retirement at any time after replacement suitable to the school administration and the board has obtained, provided that the circumstances underlying the resignation or retirement are valid in the opinion of the board and warrant a search for a replacement. Colleen Ians has submitted notice that she will be retiring from her position as paraeducator at Orchard Primary effective July 31st, 2026. Addison Spear has submitted notice of his resignation as principal of Almont High School effective July 31st, 2026. Recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education accept the retirement of Colleen Ians and the resignation of Addison Spears. The Board of Education thanks them for their service and wishes them well in the future. Support.
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Going on to new hires, the Board of Education approves all personnel. Mr. Zimmerman is pleased to announce a guest hire for boys varsity basketball coach. Ms. Lewis is pleased to recommend Melissa Nye for the role of preschool aide at Almont Middle School. Mr. Bruno is pleased to recommend Lauren Giannetti for the role of tuition-based preschool teacher at Orchard Primary. And Kathy Merrifield is pleased to recommend Jennifer Hennigan for the role of district accountant in the central office. Recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education approve the hiring of Melissa May, Lauren Giannetti, Jennifer Heinge, and a GCS employee and welcome them to the district. Support.
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on to approval of graduating seniors. The Board of Education has traditionally approved and or acknowledged a list of seniors scheduled to graduate each school year. The high school has provided a list of senior class students eligible to graduate in June. Each of the students has successfully completed graduation requirements as outlined or will complete the requirements by the conclusion of the school year and is entitled to receive a diploma unless otherwise noted. Recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education acknowledge the attached list of seniors eligible to graduate this school year and congratulate them on their accomplishment. Support.
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on to the Lapeer County Intermediate School District General Fund Operating Budget Resolution. The revised school code requires the board to adopt a resolution expressing support of or disapproval of the proposed ISD budget submitted by the Intermediate School District, MCL 380.64. The Lapeer County ISD has proposed its operating budget for the 2026-2027 school year. As required by law, the budget was submitted to the local constituent districts prior to May 1st for review. The Almont Board of Education has reviewed the budget. Section 380.64 of the revised school code requires each constituent school district's Board of Education to publicly adopt a resolution expressing its support of the ISD budget or expressing its disapproval of the budget prior to June 1st. Should the board disapprove of the proposed budget, it must submit to the ISD board its specific objections and proposed changes. And the attached document outlines the proposed changes as well as known and unknown factors. Recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Burns,
I will read out the, what do we call this? The resolution. Whereas the board received the ISD General Fund operating budget on or before May 1st, 2026, and whereas in accordance with the section 380.624 of the revised school code, this board must now adopt a resolution expressing its support or disapproval of the proposed ISD budget and must submit to the ISD board any specific objections or proposed changes the board may have to the budget prior to June 1st, 2026. Therefore, be it resolved that the ISD General Fund operating budget for the 2026-2027 school year be supported, that the secretary of the board is hereby directed to submit a copy of this resolution to the secretary of the ISD Board of Education, along with any specific objections or proposed changes to the budget. Support.
any,
Support. Support.
I will keep going. Any discussion? Mr. Burns, you do a roll call vote, please.
Yes. Mrs. Inkling.
Yes.
Mr. Burns, yes. Mr. Bureau, absent. Mr. Wade? Aye. Mr. Notarius?
Aye.
Mr. Eckert? Aye. Mrs. Smith?
Aye.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Moving on to Neola policy updates. The board adopts bylaws and policies for organization and operation of the board and district. Bylaws and policies may be adopted, amended, and repealed at any meeting of the board, provided that the proposed adoption, amendment, or repeal shall have been proposed at a previous board meeting, and once proposed, shall have remained on the agenda for each succeeding board meeting until approved or rejected. Bylaw 0131.1. The district policy, the district's policy service, Neola, has provided updates for the following policies. This is the second read. So we have policy 0100, definitions, revised. Policy 1410, staff ethics, revised. Policy 2370.01, online blended learning program, revised. Policy 2417, comprehensive school health education, revised. Policy 2418, sex education, revised. Policy 4210, staff ethics, revised. Policy 5316, wireless communication devices, revised. Policy 6320, purchasing, revised. And policy 8402, emergency operations plan, revised.
Mrs. Smith?
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education adopt the proposed Neola policy updates. Vote.
motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Mrs. Smith?
No, Mr. Eckert.
I move the Board of Education rescind policies 3120.09 and 4120.09. Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
I have a question. These were the policies that were moved into the kind of conglomerated policy, or is it new?
So one being removed.
Yeah, forgive me, I don't recall going over these.
We have volunteers who sent it under the footnotes here.
So you're just trying to figure out, Mr. Eckert, if they're covered somewhere else?
Yes, these are the ones that were brought together in the volunteers policy that.
Yep, and then so I took that one off for us to
For us to
table.
continue to
Right.
discuss?
Yes,
Did we send that before we discuss it next month?
Oh, I
Or do we-
oh, we sent it.
Oh, we have no policy. Yeah, I didn't think about it.
No. So do we want to just table this as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's table that,
Okay.
just to make sure that we have clarity on the policy.
You made the motion,
You
correct?
made a motion. Yes,
Yeah.
there was no,
You'll have to.
yep. Amend or remake?
Amend it.
Amended. Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education amend the previous policy, or the previous motion to table the rescind of policies 312009 and 412009. Support.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Mr. Eckert.
Policy 6220 update, the board adopts bylaws and policies for organization and operation of the board and district. Bylaws and policies may be adopted, amended, and repealed at any meeting of the board, provided the proposed adoption, amendment, or repeal shall have been proposed at a previous board meeting, and once proposed, shall have remained on the agenda of each succeeding board meeting until approved or rejected. Bylaw 0131.1. Superintendent Policy Committee have provided the following recommendation. This is the second read. This is for policy 6220. The board shall ensure that adequate funds are reserved for the general fund to maintain a secure financial position, whereby the fund equity shall not fall below the 7% fund balance as a percent of revenues. Recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education approve the update to policy 6220. Support.
motion and support, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And under the Professional Development Committee, effective October 1st, 2019, Section 101 of the State School Aid Act was amended to include new provisions. Local education agencies, LEA, both traditional and charter, may count up to 38 hours of professional development for teachers as hours and days of pupil instruction if all the listed requirements are satisfied. Professional development of any length may count as instructional hours, but to count as an instructional day, it must exceed 5 hours in a single day per subsection 10A. We would like to count some, 30 hours for Almont Community School, of our professional development time as instructional time. To do this, an advisory committee must be appointed to make sure all the legal requirements are satisfied. Recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education authorize the development of the Professional Development Advisory Committee for the 2026-2027 school year. Support.
motion and support, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Moving to approval of teacher change in pay. In order to be eligible to advance from one lane on the salary schedule to a higher lane, a teacher must make written proof of the completion of courses and/or degree requirements in the form of an official transcript of credits from the institution from which the credits were earned. Master agreement between the Board of Education and the Almont Education Association. Ethan McAllister is moving from BA plus 18 to master's. Discussed and recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Eckert,
I move the Board of Education advance Ethan McAllister to the appropriate level of the salary schedule in accordance with provisions outlined in the master agreement between the Board of Education and the Almont Education Association, and commend him for his commitment to continued learning. Support.
motion and support, any discussion?
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Ray?
this isn't as much fun as I had planned it. Mr. Burrow usually does this, and I was going to preempt his verbiage on this. I just commend Mr. McAllister and all the teachers that move forward with their extra education and keeping up with the new trends. It's very, very important to us, and we appreciate it greatly.
Thank you, Mr. Wade.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. That will bring us to our second questions and comments of the night. Anybody in the audience like to be recognized? Go, Mrs. Howe. Okay, anybody from the Board of Education?
Mrs. Smith,
Mrs. Rotarian?
I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our presenters this evening. I think you're all very much so appreciated, especially in these last few weeks, months, as we push towards the end of the year. It's nice to see so many positive things happening in our community, so thank you.
Yes, Nathan.
I just want to say that I had the opportunity, on Friday to do the school walkthrough, and, it was, I didn't know how I could spend 9 hours at the school. I thought it was going to be a very long day, and they, we got to see the school, we took the free school through the eyes of the students, and they got to show us what was important to them, and, I just absolutely loved it. And then we also got to talk to the administration, and, it was eye-opening on what was going well and what improvements could be made. But it was well worth our time, and I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, to piggyback on what Ms. Ainsley was saying, I did the walkthrough also. It was great to see the improvements from last year to this year. It was pretty noticeable. I appreciate all the effort that everybody put into it.
Anybody else? I'd like to thank Chartwell's tonight for the presentation and showing us how the lunch line went with the high school and giving us the opportunity to have dinner before our meeting. That was very nice of them, and we greatly appreciate all their hard work. I've heard nothing but good things about the sub line, so it's nice to see it. Again, I would also like to thank all of the students and staff and everyone that participated with our student and staff engagement day on Friday. It was really nice to get to talk to everybody who's using the facilities and hearing from the students. And I was disappointed that our OP kids dumped us at recess, but I mean, I get it. So thank you to everybody that was engaged in that day. It was really, really worth it. Anybody else? Mom, anything? Oh, future agenda item. Thank you. I always forget that one. Anyway, future agenda item. Now it's
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Burns.
I move the Board of Education adjourn the May 18th, 2026 meeting at 7:30 PM. Support?
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?